And this is Geeking Off the Page, episode 10, recorded June 14th. Holy shit in a hand grenade, you made it this far. You must really, really, really not have much to do with your time. This is your chance to listen to 3 idiot factories and 1 knowledgeable person. I'll let you decide which is which as we discuss all things geeky, movies, comics, video games, whatever little immature thought comes bubbling out of our brains and out of our mouth right into your ears. Enjoy.
In a world overrun with an infinite amount of multiverses, originating from a plethora of sources, 4 longtime friends band together to try to make sense of it all and present it to an audience in an easy-to-digest podcast. This is Geeking Off the Page.
Hello, geeks. I'm Mike Kitchen with the Time Variance Authority, and this podcast isn't supposed to happen.
And I'm Trevor, and I don't know what I'm doing.
I'm Gavin, and I've got a collection of paperweights.
I'm Troy, and I've got a bad feeling about this. So welcome, everyone. This is episode 10 of Geeking Off the Page. We have a gathering of all of our friends from strewn all across the North American continent, and we're here collected together to talk about comic books and the movies and the TV shows and the toy lines that are inspired by them. So we're going to start off this week a little differently, and we're going to get right into probably the biggest thing that is on our minds right now, and that is Disney Plus releasing on Wednesday, June 9th. They released the first episode of Loki, which is the long-awaited third series in the Marvel MCU on Disney Plus. Now, we have been looking forward to this series for quite a while. I believe that is correct. Yes, everyone? Everyone, yes?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Right, Michael?
Absolutely.
There we go. Okay, just making sure you're still there. Just to let everyone know that's listening from this so that I don't have to edit this out very later on, Michael is running a remote location yet again, so he might drop out every once in a while. So that's why the lull will all be Michael's fault. So that's what it's going to be.
His Wi-Fi is smoke-powered.
Exactly. Smoke-powered, steam-powered Wi-Fi. That's right, yes. So here's what we got. We got the first episode of Loki. So what were your thoughts about it, Gavin?
I was really pleased with it. It gave us sort of a taste of the bastard Loki that we knew from the original Avengers, from the original Thor. You know, he's a pompous, arrogant piece of shit, and he's not afraid to basically use his powers, which we see it to no avail. He's pragmatic Loki. I absolutely. This is the guy who's going to do anything to save his life, including taking a ticket.
Exactly. What do you think there, Michael? What do you think about the first episode so far? Which I take it you have seen, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, good.
So the family's been waiting for this one,
Right.
and we weren't disappointed. So there was a lot of trepidation, I suppose, after Falcon Winter Soldier, because Marvel always has a pretty good track record. And so how Marvel TV was going to work out on Disney Plus, we were kind of waiting to see, because this would be, it's like 3 shows. One was a hit, one was a miss for the family. And how is this one going to go? And they knocked it out of the park as far as we were concerned. So we talked about this in a previous podcast, how I'm not a huge fan of movies about villains. And what they did with the writing was absolutely genius. Like picking him up from after the Avengers, and he went back to his full-on villain mode. And Tom Hiddleston knocked it out of the park as far as that goes. Right? He went back into the Loki from 10 years ago and didn't skip a beat. But there was that whole scene where he was looking at his life flashing before his eyes, like his future life. And they did something there where they turned him from a villain to an anti-hero. And that was absolutely genius. And then as far as the aesthetic goes, that sort of like 60s, 70s style decor on everything, that's something that if you do it wrong can become really cheesy. But what they were able to do with the set design and the whole ambience of the whole the TVA, again, they knocked it out of the park. It was unlike anything we've seen in Marvel. It was refreshing, and I think they did a great job.
Mr. Brown?
I thoroughly enjoyed the first episode. Like as Mike said, the aesthetic, they really, really did their homework. It felt like seeing Sakaar for the first time in Thor Ragnarok, like an alien city, but it was so full that, you know, this is more than the trillions of the, I mean, they are outside of the known universe, so they have as many people as they want. And they paid attention to every little detail. Like I noticed instantly, like when they had the Tesseract, the second they stepped in the TVA, the Tesseract just dimmed right down to like a tiny little point of light, where before it was like, you know, it was glowing on the side where it steps into you. So later when you see the drawer full of Infinity Stones, they're all glowing in some fashion, but so minute. And they had all the stones were there, multiple versions of them. And it was like such a great moment that, you know, Loki had, at that point, the Infinity Stones were the all end all power source he knew of. And to see them reduced to paperweights, like a drawer full of Infinity Stones, because they cared so little about them. That was, I think, you could see that moment in Tom Hiddleston's face. He played it so well that he went from, they treat this the most powerful thing I know of as a paperweight. It's nothing. And then he realized just how much power the TVA really, really has. And you could see the turning point of the character. You know, he goes back to the room and he watches the rest of the tape and he sees his own death. And that's got to be sobering. And that's when he's sitting there and, you know, Mobius comes back in and says, you know, you try to use it. And he's like, several times, but you could see the resignation on his face of just like, I am not going to be able to bullshit my way out. I'm not going to be able to power my way out. I'm at their mercy. And I want to see where this goes. I really, really want to see where this goes, because this first episode, they have set up so much. They've answered a lot of questions. They tied up a lot of loose ends that Endgame had concerning time. And yeah, I want to see how this goes. I really do. I love the little Miss Minutes narration while he's waiting in line. That explained a lot. So, and maybe it's a spoiler, but so it ended. I watched the credits. I normally don't watch every bit of credits, but I watched the credits and I paused each one. And I noticed, because then I ran to IMDb to see, because I was like, oh, I recognize that name. Oh, I recognize that name. And I went through there and they said that, so you have Loki, Tom Hiddleston, and his stunt double. Then they had variant Loki, no name listed. Variant Loki's stunt double is a woman. And I looked up her Instagram page, and yeah. So I have a feeling the alternate Loki we see running around, the variant Loki, is going to be female Loki.
The interesting thing for that, Trevor, is I was reading an article with the director of the series, and she said that it was very important that they show how Loki is gender fluid. And normally that rubs me the wrong way when shows try to do that in the wrong way. But in the case of Loki, he's a trickster. And in the comic books, he went through a time where he did take on a female form.
And that was one of my favorite parts of Loki's story. I have those issues. And it was a great, because he was much more vicious as a woman. When he was the embodiment.
All women are.
It was just like, damn.
You can edit that out, right, Troy?
Yeah, it was just.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. What am I editing? What?
So nothing. Continue.
So when I, did my usual, let's do a deep dive into this, and found out that the variant Loki, at least the stunt person is a woman. I'm like, I fingers crossed that the variant Loki that they're chasing is the female Loki. And if that's the case, this is going to just, train off the rails. Let's see where this accident takes us, because this is going to be amazing.
Yes.
So I'm going to say that the what is mentioned before is everything's true. It's all exactly as everyone else has described it. Visually, I love the Fallout Shelter sort of Mad Men sort of feel that the TVA has. The retro, like futuristic look that everything has. Miss Minutes is by far like the greatest thing that the TVA has going for it. The interaction that of Tom Hiddleston when he meets every single new character, he has a different way of interacting with them. His reaction to every single person is completely different from the previous person. It's just so beautifully done. When Loki first when the TVA first show up, Loki instantly goes to the high ground. He steps up on a rock so that he's above everyone, all that. Just how he interacts with everyone. The whole entire use of time, that whole entire where he gets slowed down with the hit with the stick, but he's still feeling it in full time, and they whip the collar around his neck.
That was amazing.
It's just visually, it is stunning. It is fantastic to see the 2012 Loki again, and how within the first hour of the show we lose that original Loki. He is turned into, like you said, he is the anti-hero. He is the one that like he is no longer, I mean, he's going to be the trickster. He's still going to try and figure out how Loki can come out on top, but he is just taken down so many notches that he is less of what he originally was within the first hour. And the fact that the first images of Freya's dead body is what broke him. Just showing that, and Tom Hiddleston just phenomenal. And we know Tom Hiddleston is a fantastic actor. Anything that Tom Hiddleston is in is fantastic. He is a chameleon. He can play different characters. He's not going to be like a lot of character actors that play the same thing over and over again. But his Loki is, well, it is the same Loki. It's almost instantly a different Loki. It's not the Loki who has been able to turn into the good guy fighting alongside his brother. He is one that is now realizing that he's all by himself. So yeah. And I'm going to be the first one to say it because I needed to see it first. Owen Wilson doesn't bother me at all in this.
I didn't even recognize.
He was amazing.
A single wow.
Yeah.
It was a Owen Wilson. Yes, it was single. Yes, the wow. He had that one wow in it, but the interaction between the two of them work so beautifully together, bouncing off of each other. It is just a great, and hopefully it's throughout the series that they're going to be like a buddy cop sort of thing. I'm hoping that it's going to be like.
That's the feel I'm
Tom
getting.
Tom Hiddleston talked about that in interviews, how much fun it was to act with Owen Wilson, because Loki's always in control of every single situation. But this is the one guy Loki's not above and not in control of. And the way the two of them bounce around on set, he said that was probably the biggest joy, at least so far, to work on in this series, was just interacting with him. Like, how does Loki interact with somebody who's got like one step above him the entire time?
Right, exactly. There was a behind the scenes video where they just interviewed Owen Wilson about being in it, and he had mentioned that Tom Hiddleston was the Loki expert on the series. I mean, he was obviously the one that's been with the character the most. So when anyone had sort of like a question of how something would go, and Tom Hiddleston was the one who like, well, if it was Loki, he'd be doing this and this and this. So they played off of that. And according to Owen Wilson, during this whole entire thing, it seems like some of their like just the two of them riffing off each other actually makes it into the script sort of thing. So it's just, so one episode down, fantastic. Like we said, special effects are phenomenal. Go on, Trevor.
Yes.
Yeah, I was going to say, who thinks Loki pocketed some of the Infinity Stones out of the drawer?
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure something's gonna come up.
A couple of them, and they're in his pocket. Because once he steps out back out of the TVA, some of them might be powered up if they're in the right dimension.
Well, he took one of the time stones, didn't he?
He definitely. Well, he had the
He had the green one, right? That's the time stone, right?
No. He had the space stone. He had the Tesseract.
Yes, I know he had the Tesseract. Yeah,
but we saw him paw a couple of them and hold them and looked like he put them back down. But there was a couple of complete sets there.
Yeah,
and some of them were smaller. Some of them were there were like 3 different sizes of soul stones there. So I just have a feeling Loki as a character would have palmed at least as much as he could, at least a full set.
Right.
I'm hedging my bets that he didn't. So we'll see how this plays out. What about you, Troy? What do you think? Did he grab any of them?
I'm gonna say no, because there'd probably be no way that he would be allowed out of there with it. I mean, they'd shoot him with the disappearing clothes ray again, and like he'd be naked again. And, like, I highly doubt he'd be able to get. I highly doubt when they gear him up for their first mission or whenever it's going to be, which obviously is going to be. I'm hoping that, what I'm hoping is that the second episode starts as they're coming back from a failed mission.
Yeah.
Like to have why did you do that, Loki? Why did you sort of, and then
because he's not the 2018, 2019 Loki yet.
No.
Yeah. He's still the 2012. He's had the realization. He saw his mom die. He saw himself die, but he still hasn't gone through fighting side by side with Thor.
Yeah.
He hasn't gone through facing Thanos face to face.
Right. Right.
There's still, even though he's seen these things, he hasn't experienced them himself, in that moment. So I think there's still remnants of the 2012 in there, but they're not going to be as much to the forefront. But yeah, I think when given the opportunity to maybe get out of there or grab some power that the TVA holds, he's definitely going to do it because, well, he's Loki.
Gavin, what do you think? Did he pocket the stones or not?
Well, I think honestly, I think Loki, this Loki is pragmatic. When he realizes that the stones are literally paperweights around the office, I think he's just sort of abandoned the idea of trying to use them.
So it's 3
not
to 1
saying
odds.
He might not come back, but I don't think he grabbed them.
All right. So
I think he.
So if he comes back with the Infinity Stones, we all owe Trevor a Coke.
Okay.
I don't drink soft drinks anymore, so something else.
All right, fine. Then
to your point, Mike, Troy, that arc redemption, they crammed 6 movies worth of redemption into essentially 5 minutes of the best hits of Loki.
Yes.
And that sort of thing for me normally would be there's no fucking way that this could work. But no, you're watching him react to this in to all of these moments, and you're seeing it break him. It's almost like he's experiencing everything the main timeline Loki is experiencing all in one. It's like the speediest arc redemption ever. Speedy arc redemption, speedy arc.
Yeah, I saw it happening at the same time, but I think there's still remnants of that 2012 Loki in him.
Oh, for sure.
Just because
he's gonna pull some shit
for Loki. Come on.
Yeah, because the thing is, watching all that, he realizes his timeline doesn't end well. The TVA is giving him a chance to make a new timeline for himself. So I think he's gonna run and grab that as best he can, but he's going to turn it to his own advantage. He's going to try.
Okay,
that was one of my favorite moments.
He's pragmatic.
As soon as he got to the TVA, he was like, "Oh, this looks like a good power. I'm going to make a time army, and we're going to go wreak havoc amongst the universe." That was the first go-to thought he had.
And the fact that he thought the judge was bringing him forward because the Avengers went to stop the God King Loki, not Thanos. I mean, that to me was a great moment that he thought in his mind he was collecting these Infinity Stones and was going to scoop them away from Thanos and become like a God King of the universe.
Yeah.
And then, it didn't happen.
Well, you have to take in consideration that there's a good chance that our Disney Plus Loki is going to have to be killed off at the end of the series, because as they pointed out, that he is the variant. He is the one that shouldn't be around. The Loki that is the real Loki is the one that gets killed by Thanos just before he collects all the Infinity Stones. So I don't know how long it's going to be before this Loki figures that out, because that might be a good reason why he's going on the run as well. So not only is there another Loki out there that they have to fight, they also have to track down the runaway variant Loki, because he's figured out, well, wait a sec, because the Avengers were supposed to time travel to.
Well, they refer to him constantly as variant, and he's missed minutes talking about what they do to variants.
Yeah.
So he knows that if he goes back to his original timeline, he's going to get choked out by Thanos and, plump, done. So he's going to.
But this is Loki. This is Loki, and how many times does he escape death? Like, what's one more time?
All the times.
Or he's going to figure out a way to that next snap. That's something out like that. That's yet another illusion, or yet another way to cheat death. Now it's basically being forewarned with the information of your own death. You're going to try to figure out a way of getting around it.
We know for a fact that he's not in Thor 4.
Now, they also talked about, the multiverse madness wars. What's the name of the Doctor Strange movie? What's the tagline of it? Multiverse of Madness. So I think, this is going to lead us into Doctor Strange. This is going to lead us into Spider-Man 3. We may not. I don't think
is the new Infinity Stone.
Yeah, I think this series is setting up those two movies, but this is not the last we're going to see as Tom Hiddleston as Loki.
Oh no, I don't think so either. And your idea of like putting him back into the timeline and then him figuring out something to do once he's about to be choked up by that, actually, I like that. I like that idea.
Yeah,
I hadn't thought of that.
It's just, any logical person, if I were to say to you, Troy, tomorrow you're going to be at 3 p.m., you're going to be in a car accident, you're going to die, you are going to figure out a way of getting around that.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
If it's at 2:59, the car's moving and you just tuck and roll out of the car and let the car carry on ahead and get in that accident, you are going to avoid that. You're going to do everything in your power to avoid that end.
Yeah.
He just showed Loki how he ends.
Right. Yeah.
Really smart guy. He admits he's a smart guy. He's going to spend some time thinking, if they put me back, how do I avoid that end?
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
One more point on Loki. What did you guys think of the James Bond sequence? The
the DB
Cooper from the airplane.
That was
amazing. I always thought Tom Hiddleston should be the next James Bond. I've been campaigning that in my brain for years, and just seeing him with the suit and the sunglasses and playing that role.
Yeah.
Like, if he's never James Bond, I'm just glad we had that moment.
I just like the fact that they explained that it was a bet, and he lost the bet, so he had to go do something on the mortal realm.
He had to steal money on the mortal realm. Yeah,
you're there.
Yeah,
and the fact that when he got through and some money floated down, and that's the money that they found and said, "Oh, well, DB Cooper must have gotten here."
Yeah,
that was just a nice little
I just turned it down.
moment.
That just shows how good the writing is on this.
Yeah. That's what gives me a lot of hope for the rest of these episodes.
Yeah.
And speaking of the writing, it was the what's his name? Oh shoot, I wrote it down somewhere. But the guy from Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
Michael Waldron, is that his name?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
The fact that you got someone. Yeah, so the writer for this is from Rick and Morty. Rick and Morty ended. He heard they were doing the Loki. He's like, well, I have to do this. And of course, someone coming from a wacky cartoon like that to a Loki series, I think it's brilliant.
Oh, yeah. Oh, then, you've got someone that knows how to write for dimensional storylines and multiple characters of this. Yeah. So, that's actually, I didn't even realize that. That is fantastic.
Yeah, he's basically the show creator and lead writer on all the episodes.
Yeah. Nice. That is fantastic. It is definitely a nice reprieve from the unfortunate ending, how Falcon and the Winter Soldier well, like it wasn't a complete disappointment, but it was a little lackluster. We were hoping for to come off on a higher note than what we did.
Yeah.
Friggin' Loki started off hitting the ground running from moment one.
Now,
And
a little side thing. If you go to IMDb, look at the cast, the series cast. Actress Sophie DiMartino is listed as being in 5 of the 6 episodes, but no character given. None whatsoever. Everyone else has a character listed to. I mean, Sasha Lane doesn't, but most of them. And the fact that she's in 5 of the 6 episodes. Anyone who's in usually more than 2 or 3 episodes, you know the character name. Nope.
What do you think it is, Trevor?
I think that's Lady Loki.
And you're saying 5 out of the 6, so we're being introduced to our next week's episode?
I think we're gonna see the hood come back, and we're gonna see, we'll see her in all her glory.
Excellent. So yeah, so we're definitely looking forward to
Next Wednesday. I know exactly.
Next Wednesday. Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. But it's nice. It's a full
Finally,
out.
a reason to look forward to the midweek.
Yay, hump day.
So did you guys also see that they've actually Disney has released the Loki charms as a promo?
Yes.
In some markets,
Busted Loki charms.
yeah.
You have to sign up for it and get sent a box, but you can't.
Yeah, exactly. No, you can't. No. Yeah. It's not. It's. Yeah. Oh, for sure. It is definitely a very limited sort of access to it, but it's kind of cool that
3,500 boxes.
Yeah, which are probably by this point already gone.
Oh, yeah. They're gone, and you're going to see them at comic conventions on sale for like.
Oh yeah. Look up on eBay. You'll be able to find them for like $50-$60 each. But so. All right, so we're going with thumbs up for episode 1, correct?
2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up. 2 thumbs up. I think Mike can only give us 1.
4 thumbs up. How many thumbs do we got?
How many thumbs do we got?
Mike would hold thumbs up.
Mike, are you holding up 3 thumbs? Oh God, that's not a thumb.
As many as I got. But I'm holding it and it's up.
All right, so it's a good start to Disney Plus for our good old Loki. I mean, again, a lot of the charm is Tom Hiddleston. Him, like I said, interacting with all the other characters is great. The characters we're introduced to, the woman in charge of the team forces and all that is kind of cool, and I love the fact that it's friggin' Tara Strong doing the voice of Miss Minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm listening to it. I'm like, that Southern accent sounds so familiar. Who is it? And the closing credits, like Tara Strong, like, oh, that's why the voice sounded familiar. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing more. I'm hoping like it'd be neat to see some sort of cameo or some sort of they were just here sort of sequence, like seeing like the Avengers have just left a situation or something like that. In the trailer, there is one sequence where you can see in the background, it looks like a destroyed New York City, and there's also like the Stark Tower, the Avenger Tower in ruins and all that. So it all depends on what we're going to be seeing because, well, like I said, 6 episodes. There's a lot can happen in 6 episodes when you're jumping dimensions and trying to change time. So, all right.
You
so
guys seen the Tom Hiddleston doing Owen Wilson as Loki?
No.
Okay, I'm going to show you this.
Okay.
All right.
Can you get us an audio?
Oh, you don't have audio?
No audio.
Oh.
Technical difficulties.
I have no idea.
I was thinking
Oh, here we go.
that I'd really like to hear what Owen Wilson would be like if he was Loki. Okay. Yeah, sorry, I had to do it.
Owen Wilson as Loki. Hang on. I can, and I will. Um, um, no, is not this simpler? Like, is this not your natural state? Um, you know, it, it's the unspoken truth of humanity that you crave in subjugation. So,
Thank you.
my pleasure. For God's sake, just like kneel.
That's amazing.
I'm Loki of Asgard. I'm burdened with glorious purpose. That's all. Like,
That was pretty good. That was pretty good. That's a good note to end that off on. All right. So that's our big Loki, and we'll probably definitely be back next week to talk about episode 2, which we were all looking forward to because it is such good. Or at least we're hoping that it's such good. It's going to be such good. What are we kidding? They're not going to drop the ball, right? They've
Hopes
only
are
got
way
6
up.
episodes. They've only got 6 episodes, right? They can't mess
When
it
you
up.
start that strong,
Yeah,
you better finish strong.
you
I
have to
think they
finish
will.
strong. Yeah, for sure.
My money is on it's going to be a good series.
Yeah.
In other Disney Plus news, set photos of Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan. Mainly, he's just wrapped up in a big green sheet because he's in costume as he's going from trailer to set. But yeah, they are actively filming. So fingers
I
crossed.
can't wait for that one.
Yeah,
They better get the story right.
What I believe the studio is the studio lot they're using is what they use for the Mandalorian, the big screen rooms.
yeah. That's called the big room is called all the LED screens. Yeah, I know. As soon as you were saying, I'm like, oh, what's the name of it? Keep talking, Trevor. I can get it.
The turnaround is going to be relatively quick.
Yeah. Oh no, for sure it will be. Yeah. And also, we also found out information about the storyline for Boba Fett series, how we might actually be getting a little more of information between Empire and Return of the Jedi as part of the storyline. And we're going to see what happens after the Mandalorian as part of the storyline. So I think we'll see like a parallel sort of thing. And the thing is, in the friggin' Empire to Jedi time, you don't need to take the helmet off, so you can have a younger actor portraying Boba Fett.
Mhm.
Just have Tamara do
Make a good
uh,
choice.
yeah, he can do the voice. Yeah. So so looking forward to that. And that's at Christmas time. And I believe Obi-Wan is the beginning of next year, right? I believe is what
I
it's.
believe so. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Book of Fett has apparently finished filming. It's wrapped.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So they're pumping through this stuff pretty quick. I think using those again, the virtual sets really speeds up production, because now they don't there's not like episode 2 where everything is on a giant green screen. They have something they can interact with. I was watching a featurette where they're talking about they can interactively, day of shooting, make adjustments like it's just not in the right spot, let's move it. They can update in real time, and it just makes for a better looking show, but also faster production. It's not like if everything's on green screen, like, well, we'll just kind of fake it and do it in post because that takes longer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. If you can do, I mean, it always is easier if you can do anything inside the camera. Like, the more practical you can make your production, the quicker you can get it out to the general public. It's just, I mean, for years, the experience is what the screening is the LED screen is called. The experience.
All right.
Yes, I was like, I think it's something along that lines, but yeah, no.
I was watching. There was a YouTube video talking about modeling, and one of the guest speakers, his company does a lot of modeling for Mandalorian and stuff like that, and they do a lot of, there are physical props on set, and then they digitally scan those props so that they have accurate virtual prop of that prop, and they can replace it in the scene, or they can multiply it many times. You have to build 60 crates, you just build one.
I watched that Corridor Crew video as well, Trevor.
No, actually, I went from the Corridor Crew to another video.
To another one. Okay.
It was like 7 or 8 different modelers, and this guy, it was there was a couple of guys who worked on Mandalorian. There's a couple of guys who said we're working on an unnamed D+ project because they can't say what it is.
Yeah, well, okay, D+. Yes, okay, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like it was really interesting because they construct the sets at their home studios. I mean, right now home studios because they can't, with COVID and stuff like that. But they are tasked with sometimes creating assets as fast as they can because they're like, we got the physical asset, and it's just not good enough. And they're like, all right, well, we'll replace it on the fly, sort of thing.
Hey guys, just letting you know, I'm almost out of battery here, so I'm gonna just jump ahead, do a time skip.
All right, so let's go back to the regular stuff. So we're gonna go with our trailers to begin with. Now, Netflix decided to drop a pretty tasty. Hey, Gavin, is someone else watching TV in another room?
Yes.
Is that Wolverine or?
What Wolverine? Here, let me make it bigger so you can see. What are you looking at? Oh no, that's Harvey Birdman. It's a Harvey Birdman shirt that he's wearing.
Corpus.
Habeas corpus, yes. Hey, I got my R2 shirt on. I just realized I'm wearing an R2 and the Darth Vader one that Trevor's got on right now.
Tall, Darth, and handsome.
Yes.
And still working our way through Chuck.
Still working your way through Chuck? Well, you got 6 seasons? Chuck. 6 seasons, yeah?
Yeah, I'm wearing a Nerd Herd shirt today.
Yeah, Nerd Herd, yes. The Nerd Herd shirt. There you go.
Which one do you think?
Oh, I'm going to go with the lavender cotton.
Just very ladies back.
Yeah, that would be nice. All right. So we'll try this again. So we got new trailers that were dropped on us within the past week, and just going to take a handful of them and talk them out here because I think it fits into our whole entire universe of ideas of what we enjoy. Yeah, but
Did you see Patty's post?
I did not see Patty's post. What is Patty's post?
Black Widow is already paid for. We're ready to go.
Black Widow is already paid for. What do you mean?
We've already ordered it on Disney Plus. So like,
we've
when it
already
drops,
got
we're ready
when.
to go.
Okay, I see. I got you. Okay. So, hey, I get to watch. I get to watch Black Widow when it comes out. Yay!
But
Still,
you know why it's an important movie?
yes,
What?
because it's an important movie.
But you know why it's an important movie?
I don't understand the question of why it's an important
It's
movie.
somebody's
Besides,
first cinematic performance.
oh yes, sorry, it's Mila Jovovich's daughter,
Ever Gabo Anderson.
Ever Gabo Anderson. Yes, she has her first acting role in it.
She
So
plays baby Black Widow.
yes,
Baby Natasha.
yes, she plays the young Natasha Romanoff. So
I'm so excited.
yes, very exciting. Yes.
So excited.
So normally we start off the show with talking about trailers, and what we're doing this time is we're just taking a quite small collective of a couple of the trailers that were actually released this week. And one of the big ones that was released was Netflix dropped Masters of the Universe Revelation on us. So I'm here to say that yes, I was a fan of the He-Man series back in the day, and I had the action figures. I am, yes, there are people that of our age that didn't enjoy
Well, there's something wrong with that.
yes, there is something wrong with those people that did not enjoy He-Man and the Masters Universe.
Like Masters of the Universe. Like Skeletor was the best. How did
Skeletor was the best. Yes, thank you for not saying Skeletor was the bomb. Oh, that didn't work, Gavin. It cut out your voice because it didn't sound like a voice. It's still not going, right, Gavin?
Gab, we can't
Gavin,
hear you.
talk. Just talk regular, Gavin.
No.
There we go.
Okay, now do the Skeletor laugh.
No.
Nice.
Yeah.
I can hear it.
There we go. Okay, now we got it. So this is the Kevin Smith project that we've been hearing about for a couple of years now through Netflix, and it's a fully animated series that basically picks up where the old series ended off. Now, obviously, it is 40 years later, and we have a much more adult-looking animated feature. Series. It definitely is not going to be your Filmation, your younger version self Filmation favorite. That that basically was the same animation over and over again for each individual character, that had a couple of points of articulation and moving left to right on the same screen, and just
Or that one shot where they walk towards the camera and then go off screen.
Yes, that one as well. Yes, yeah. The five basic backgrounds, and it's the same He-Man doing the same right-handed punch from across the screen, making the flash when he hits the actual screen and all that. This looks like a beautifully animated, modern animated cartoon, and it definitely looks like it is for an older audience. So you guys,
Their abs have abs.
Their abs have abs. Yes, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, I'm already dealing with my own emasculation watching Marvel movies. Now
yeah, exactly.
We got He-Man again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you guys were fans of the series as well, right? You guys had the
I watched He-Man every morning before I went to school.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But what I noticed about the teaser trailer, like the level of art, much more. I mean, we joke about the abs have abs, but for the most part, they are anatomically correct in terms of just gross physical anatomy. Like Skeletor's skull has so much detail to it.
Mm-hmm.
That you're like, okay, this is a guy who has a skull for it. Like he has no flesh. That's actually. Because in the Filmation one, it was like sometimes like, is that a mask? Oh, like, if you pull the mask off, you're gonna see a guy's face in it, because it was just so flat and bland looking.
Yeah,
I do like that the teaser trailer, it brings basically all the action figures. You see, Man at Arms, you got Tila, you got Lockjaw.
This trailer was basically to show off. Here's what you're gonna see, because that is definitely Kevin Smith's influence. Yeah, here's who you're gonna see, guys. You can see this guy. You can see this guy. You can see this guy. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Did we catch Fistor?
Now they say it's 40 years later, but you look at some of the characters and they don't look they've aged 40 years.
Oh, no. I don't think that.
I think it's 40 years after the original Filmation.
Yeah, series. Exactly. Because according to Kevin Smith, this basically series takes place just after the last one has ended.
Yeah. Was Fistor the guy with the big metal fist?
Yes.
Yeah, he's in there.
Yes, Gavin? Yes? The guy with the one guy with the giant fist, right?
Yeah, that's the one.
Right.
I really like the fact that they've made Prince Adam actually kind of he's scrawny, but he's a buff scrawny.
Yeah, but he's not like as tall as. It's not like people are going to be like, "Hey, you look exactly like He-Man, but you're dressed in Prince Adam's clothes." There's a definite change in size and just everything about him.
Yeah. Now, mind you, that series that was about like 8 years ago, that when they tried to redo it, it was a small skinny kid that turned into the giant He-Man, which is a little too much of an alt. This version, the He-Man Prince Adam looks.
And I also like the fact that Skeletor uses his magic, and not just I'm going to cast a spell and then stand here while people beat the Jesus. I mean, he's using his magic offensively, as well as using his staff, using his sword. He's it's like a fighter mage. He's actually getting into this.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that the Eternia, basically the King's forces are dressed in variants of Man-at-Arms armor with but they're actually fighting.
Yes.
They're actually doing something.
Yeah, exactly. It's not just Man-at-Arms being the only man at arms. Yeah. The other nice thing is the amazing voice talent that they got for this, and some that are not usually known for doing voice acting work. I mean, there's a couple that are, like, as most notable, we've got Mark Hamill doing the voice of Skeletor.
Yeah.
And the fact that the actual trailer starts off with Skeletor's laugh being Mark Hamill doing the voice is just yay.
Also, Orko is in the trailer.
Yeah, Orko is in the trailer. Yeah.
I mean, he was for the longest time he was like the joke character, but he's actually doing something, and he looks Like you see his eyes, he's like, oh, okay, he's not just some, random goofball they threw in. Like he's actually doing something.
Yeah. So
Just a mascot.
Yeah.
yeah, not just a joke sidekick sort of thing. Yeah. So what we have is Chris Wood is doing the voice of both Prince Adam and He-Man. We've got
he's not doing He-Man as He-Man.
Yeah, exactly.
Not doing a Christian Bale.
So and from Game of Thrones, we have Liam Cunningham is doing the voice of Man at Arms.
Mm-hmm.
We have Sarah Michelle Gellar doing the voice of Tila. And we have Susan Eisenberg doing the voice of the Sorceress. And like we already said, that we got Mark Hamill as Skeletor, but we have Leanna Headley, also from Game of Thrones fame, doing Evil Lynn. We have Kevin Conroy doing Merman, of all things. And we also have Trapjaw being Diedrich Bader.
Yeah.
Who is, Diedrich Bader as doing Trapjaw, which is kind of cool. Diedrich Bader would have been most notably last done both The Brave and the Bold Batman, but was one of the characters from the Drew Carey Show.
Justice is unisex.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah. So and that's just a main like top 8.
July's going to be a great month for shows.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
July is just packed with all these different things coming out.
Now, also the nice thing about it is the information that they've put out there is that it's going to be Netflix. So on July 23rd, the whole entire part 1 is being released, because this is being touted as part 1. So they're obviously
working.
And if you've been listening to any of Kevin Smith's stuff recently, he's always talking about how he's seen the full cut of the first episode and now the second episode, and he's seen all 8 episodes that are going to be dropping in the first part. So we got 8 now, and then obviously the second goes into production and all that. So hopefully we'll see those soon after. But yeah, so we got 8 episodes dropped all at once. Now, what we don't know is how long each of the episodes are going to be. Unless,
they haven't listed.
Yeah, there's no running time, which is kind of neat. So there is a good chance that we could have hour-long episodes, which would be kind of neat.
I doubt they're going to be hour-long, just because, animation.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's.
Yeah. It's tougher to pull off animation. And again, the change between the styles, between the original 80s version and this current this current version just looks phenomenal. But everything looks familiar, which is really a hard thing to do, to change it so drastically, but still make it look and feel like the original. The backgrounds look fantastic. The scenery looks phenomenal. It looks like it's going to be one hell of an entertaining time. And like you said, July is going to be one hell of a month for our type of geekdom, which is kind of neat.
I gotta say, Netflix has really done a good job at kind of grabbing the nostalgia by the short and curlies with a lot of the shows.
Yeah.
Like Voltron. I love that entire series from beginning to end. Great character designs, great homage to the original characters, and great little twists in there too.
Yeah.
But it invoked the memories from watching the original series.
Mm-hmm. It did.
Sure.
It did. It felt like watching the Filmation stuff, but much higher degree. I'm just looking at the cast list. They also, a couple of names you missed. Henry Rollins as Triclops.
Nice.
Justin Long as Roboto.
Okay.
Tony Todd as Scareglow. Phil Lamar as Hero. Cree Summer as Priestess. Harley Quinn Smith as Elena, and Jason Mewes as Stinkor.
Jason Mewes as Stinkor. Oh my God, that's amazing. Of course, Kevin Smith would both get his best buddy and his daughter into the series, but that's fantastic. Oh my God.
If I was running it, I'd have my whole damn family in it. Why not?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. All right, so we're all looking forward to that. we're gonna give that the big old
Definitely
geeking off
gonna
the page thumbs up on that one, right? Yep, finger up. We're gonna fingers up on that one. All the fingers up on that one. So one of the other trailers we got dropped on us this week was for a tiny little Disney Plus series that's starting on July 2nd, and that's Monsters at Work, which is kind of a cute little idea. And what it is basically what it is. It's basically a third movie, but turned into a TV series. It's no longer a scare floor; it's a laugh floor. They're basically the head honchos at Monsters Inc. have now moved Sully and Mike up to managing the now laugh floor. And again, still voiced by John Goodman and Billy Crystal. So they still sound the same. So it doesn't matter what they look like because they're just doing voices. So it has that.
You got the money.
Yeah. And we're introduced to a whole entire new series of characters. Now, again, there are a couple of returning characters, like even Roz is coming back, and Celia May, voiced by Jennifer Tilly, is coming back. We have our nice little Pixar Disney animated character of John Ratzenberg is coming back as Yeti. But we're introduced to a new character called Tyler Tuxman, who basically comes in and is trying to get a job as a floor scarer. And then he's informed that we no longer do scares, we do this. So he's put into a division where they basically repair the doors and all that. Some of the other voices are like Kelly Marie Tran is introduced into the series. We have Henry Winkler as a voice in the series, who looks like it's going to be one of the main or secondary characters and all that. And it's what it is. It's Disney computer animation that looks exactly like the movies, but now we're going to have a series of it.
Mm-hmm.
The cool thing is it's going to be on Disney Plus, so we're going to be dealt out episodes weekly. We're not going to have it dropped all on us at once, so we'll have something to look for every single week instead of it falling off the radar, like unfortunately a lot of the Netflix stuff.
Yeah.
And again, I don't think, like we were just talking about friggin' He-Man, I highly doubt He-Man's going to fall off the radar so quickly. But yeah. But this looks very cute. It looks very like half-hour sitcomish. So like we're looking at probably 25-minute episodes or something like that. Yeah.
I think it's
That would be my guess.
10 episodes by the looks of it. Yeah, 10 episodes.
Yeah.
I'm hoping it gets picked up for second season. I'm praying to God Steve Buscemi gets to come back. Even as pops through the door like I'm back. Gets kicked back through another. Oh nuts! And the door gets closed.
Including one of the greatest moments of character development.
Just like, oh look, we got this door to work. Opens up, Steve Buscemi's character comes in, and then someone like does like a Spartan boot to his chest and knocks him back. Door closes. You just hear him like, damn it.
Well, you know what? I could totally see if there is going to be a second season. I can definitely see them getting more voices in on the series for sure. Yeah.
And see people. I would like to see some of the characters from Monsters University.
Yeah.
See them like now. Where are they now?
Where are they now? Sort of thing. Yeah. That would actually be really cool. Yeah.
So yeah, when I saw that, I mean, my kids really enjoyed the trailer because they love Monsters Inc. They love Monsters University. And they were like, ooh, this. I'm like, yeah, it's next month. And they're like, ooh. So, yeah.
Yeah. And for a couple of weeks afterwards, too.
Mm-hmm. Well, also, the same day, Boss Baby 2 comes out. And Boss Baby is watched a lot by my younger daughter.
Okay.
They've watched the series. They love that whole concept.
Okay, so this movie takes place after the series, which took place after the first movie, right?
Yeah, this one, the little boy and his baby, they're all grown. They're adults.
They're grown up. Yes, I've seen the trailer for the second one.
They're adults. So yeah, this is well in the future.
Okay.
And cool. It's a case of one of them, their daughter is a boss baby.
Yes.
So yeah.
So the older brother's youngest daughter is one of the undercover babies and then she recruits her uncle and her father to.
Well, she mainly recruits. She needs
the uncle.
Yeah, she needs Alec Baldwin's character.
Yeah.
They recruit basically her dad kind of like as a side thing, but they really want.
It's like Jennifer in Back to the Future 2. I had to bring her along. She saw the DeLorean and couldn't. Yeah. Okay, that sort of thing.
So my kids they saw the trailer for that, and again, July 2nd is going to be a very TV heavy day in this house.
All right.
I don't think I would be able to watch anything that I would like to watch. I mean, I'm going to watch it anyway, but any program I had to envision for July 2nd is not going to happen because they're going to take over.
There's nothing really wrong with that because that sort of animation leads to family viewing.
Exactly.
Like we said recently that versus the Mitchells versus the Machines. There is a lot of humor in that is directly shot at the adults in the audience that the kids aren't going to pick up on. That was like watching Animaniacs.
Yeah.
Right.
There was fun visuals going on, but what was being said in the context.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah. Exactly. Like, oh, they got away with that, huh? I mean, this Netflix animated movie, you can do a little more in it because it's not.
Yeah.
But then again, Hulu's return to Animaniacs a little more.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because I'm more aware of it this time that I was looking for it more, that I got a lot of more the directly
I went back and rewatched the original Animaniacs, and I mean, I think we caught a lot of the jokes. Back in college. But yeah, I think with the new Animaniacs, they did kind of like, look, they got it to here. Maybe we can get some stuff up here.
Okay, that's what I was getting out of it too. Yeah.
I haven't actually seen anything of the new Animaniacs. Did they get anything close to the Fingerprints one?
There's very close, very, very close to stuff.
Yeah.
Because I've had a couple of uncomfortable questions from my daughter about what do they? I'm like, just keep watching.
You know what? However, for its time too, that Fingerprints is a little too. I mean, that is way.
I don't think so.
Yeah. And just
yeah, that was a little. Yeah, that was even for the time, even for nowadays, that would be.
Yeah.
But so that was a little higher mark than the general one. But yes, no, there's stuff like that. It is available on Hulu, and in Canada, it's airing on. I think it's airing on Teletoon.
All right.
So yeah.
Down here in the U.S.
Yeah. So yeah. So yeah. Hey, what is that? I don't have my glasses on. I can't make out that black square. Oh, Han Solo's the end nozzle to Han Solo's blaster. Yay!
Yay! And the next trailer was.
Oh, we got a very cute trailer for something that I've heard about and had no idea that it was actually a serious idea. But this is DC's League of Super Pets.
I'd heard a rumor, but then I hadn't heard anything since then.
Same here. I
thought
heard
it was
a
like
rumor.
an April Fool's.
I thought it was. I thought it was going. I heard it was going to be like a series of shorts that were going to air on like some sort of WB something or that. But the fact that the only thing we have Crypto, which is Superman's dog, just like sitting there, puts his cape up, and then like flies off camera, and we find out that Crypto is voiced by Dwayne Johnson.
And Ace, Batman's dog.
Ace, Batman's
Kevin
dog,
Hart.
is Kevin Hart, and there's a whole entire other list of.
And it's not a small name list.
No, it's not a small list. Which
Kate
is
McKinnon,
fantastic.
John Krasinski.
Yep.
Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
It was just like,
and the nice thing about it is if you watch it, and Keanu Reeves is what they put at the bottom, meaning he might be the adversarial voice in this whole entire thing.
Who knows?
But yeah,
still, when I saw that teaser, that's why I instantly shared it because I'm like, it's real.
Yeah.
It is real. Oh my God, it's real.
Also, if you go to just the IMDb page for it, the only characters that are listed are Crypto and Ace as Dwayne Johnson and Kevin Hart, but Diego Luna is also part of the listings. And yeah, like you said, I didn't even notice it until I looked at it here and you said it here. Oh, John Krasinski. I didn't see his name in the credits, I guess, because we're looking at it like a 25-second trailer and the names all come doom, 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 doom. And Keanu Reeves in the, whoa, did that say Keanu Reeves at the bottom? So, I mean, it's also listed as coming out in 2022. That's it, and nothing else to it. It's apparently going to be a theatrical feature, which is kind of neat. But other than that, we have no sort of inkling of what's going on. We don't even know what Ace looks like in this. I mean, from the image of Crypto, the design of the dog looks really cool. So if that's going to be the animation style, yay! It looks fun. And it looks like it'll be a romp. I mean, it's going to be a short, like 90 minutes.
I'll still watch it.
Oh no, I am totally going to watch it. And yeah, so it's just it looks like a fun time, which is what you expect out of something that.
Yeah, the tagline I saw, or the little synopsis is, Superman's dog Crypto teams up with a flying cat to stop crime while Superman's on vacation.
Well, Superman's on vacation. Yeah, exactly.
Ace going to be the flying cat.
But isn't Ace Batman's dog?
Batman's dog, like his Doberman, but you're saying a flying cat.
Oh, you
Must
know
be
who
Wonder
it
Woman's pet.
You know what? If it's any, no, what it is, it's probably. I'm hoping it would be Kate McKinnon as the cat going up against Dwayne Johnson's, because I could see the two of them riffing off of each other pretty well. But anyway,
I was hoping it was going to be Dwayne Johnson and Kevin Hart riffing off each other continuously.
Oh, it'll be Superman and Batman riffing off of each other. Yeah, it'll definitely be Crypto and Ace riffing off of each other. Yeah. But anyways, that was, like I said, it's only like a 25-second teaser.
There's not enough there to go on yet.
No. Yet. Also, another trailer we got was not really a trailer, but a behind-the-scenes look at Sandman that is being again brought to us by Netflix. And what it is it's Neil Gaiman walking around the different sets, talking about how he is so blown away by the vision of how his work that he wrote so many years ago is being turned into this realistic, practical visual medium. And it's kind of cool because there's shots of Neil Gaiman talking to the artists that are working on things, and he's picking up props they're using in the movies, and then they show a little panel from the comic, and you can see that it's the exact same thing, but now it's an actual physical item, and the sets look spectacular. I myself wasn't a huge Sandman comic fan, but I was very aware of it and very aware of the aesthetic and what it looked like to flip, because I would flip through the Sandman comics, the look of it, the dream-esque sort of almost painted panels of the early stuff and the graphic nature of the actual series. And from what we've seen in this short little 2-minute trailer of, like I said, Neil Gaiman just walking around sets talking to people and about making it and how it looks and all that, it looks spectacular. It looks like, again, because they have all the money, Netflix has spent all the money on this series. And I am hoping, because as we have seen in the past couple of weeks with Jupiter's Legacy and last week's Sweet Tooth, Netflix has thrown a lot of money into these series, and unfortunately, they've just decided to, well, on Jupiter's Legacy, they've pulled the plug. There's not going to be a second season. They spent $200 million on that one season. Now, I'm not sure if you guys were aware of this, but that series did not look like a $200 million series. There is no way that you can do 8 episodes that look like, look, if that was a regular network television series, which is what it looked like a high-end TV series but there's no way there was 200 million spent on there. It did not show up on the screen. I'm sorry. No matter what, when I found that out, I realized, oh, 200. What did we spend like all that money on the actors? Did we like? It's not like they did a lot of location stuff either. Everything was pretty much in and around the Toronto area. A lot of it was like inside sets and all that. Now, maybe shooting at a time of COVID might mean that you had to spend a little more money to make sure everyone was safe and all that, but still, I mean, I enjoyed the series. It was beautiful to watch. It was well acted, but I'm sorry, I did not see $200 million in those episodes. And I'm also read something about how Netflix is a little iffy on the what's happening with Sweet Tooth too, because apparently the viewership is not there, which is a sad thing, because it is even more beautiful to watch than the other. I mean, it's apparently, from what I've heard from other people that do this sort of thing, that talk about comic books and all that, it's a complete departure from the dark comic book, which is good, because this is not a dark series. I mean, it has its dark moments. It definitely treads on the line of being dark and all that, but it is definitely a beautiful story that is revealed to us in the now I'm blanking on 8 episodes of Sweet Tooth. Yeah, so but I'm hoping that Sandman doesn't end up the same way, because this, and you're correct, Adrian, I'm pretty sure that it won't, because
talking about Sandman. I never heard about Sweet Tooth until it actually dropped.
right, exactly, yeah,
Same thing with the other one you're talking about.
yes,
Never heard about it until it got dropped.
exactly, yeah.
Now, a little
Sandman for like 2 years.
a little side note. So Jupiter's Legacy was 200 million for 8 episodes.
Yes.
That's roughly 25 million per episode. Game of Thrones, their most expensive episode was $14 million.
Yep.
Their biggest episode until season 5, when they did Hard Home, was the Blackwater, the Battle of Land, and had the biggest, and that was 8 million.
Yeah.
Even the cheapest, I mean, as bad as the last season was, the cheapest of the Game of Thrones episodes still looks better than I mean,
some of that.
You can even say the most expensive of the Game of Thrones episodes still looks better than the cheapest that they spent on Jupiter's Legacy episodes. Like, a lot of money went places that it doesn't look like it went.
No.
So this is where I'm hoping Sandman, the money should look well spent.
Yes. But it also looks like this is a lot of, again, it's not much. It's just a 2-minute walkthrough sort of. You get to see there's a lot of physical stuff being made. There's a lot of sets. There's, I think, at least 5 or 6 different sets. The cast sounds fantastic from what we've heard. Again, we don't see any of the other actors. It's all behind the scenes stuff. It's all people making stuff. It's all people like setting up set dressing and whatnot, and doing the lighting and all that. It looks beautiful. It looks spectacular. It looks like what it should look like. It's unbelievable. But yeah, so again, the other thing is, I think they're expecting to wrap up filming by the end of June, and there is no release, like concrete release date. So we're either going to have end of the year or beginning of 2022. So again, also not even a number of episodes. So that could also be a big factor too. I don't know how far they're going. I mean, there is so much they can pull from Sandman too. I mean, it boggles the mind of what it could be. But no matter what, I highly doubt any fans of anything Neil Gaiman is going to be disappointed. I mean, just look at what Amazon did with Good Omens and American Gods.
Yeah.
And yeah, so if Netflix even comes, like, if Netflix can equal those 2 Neil Gaiman productions, which also Neil Gaiman is like wholeheartedly involved with this series.
Yeah.
I mean, like he was with the other two. Like he was there every single day. He was part of the writing. He was doing the adapting. So that's the other
He's
thing
pretty
too.
happy with it.
Yeah, no, chances are, yeah, no, I'm pretty sure that Neil Gaiman. See, the thing is, Neil Gaiman is like, what's his face from Watchmen, the crotchety guy from Watchmen, the writer. Oh no.
Alan Moore.
Yeah, Alan Moore. Alan Moore. If Alan Moore doesn't like something, he will let you know right away.
He'll tell you about it.
He will not sugarcoat it. Yeah. But Neil Gaiman is the same way. He will say pass on something that he doesn't feel will represent what he wants to represent. So yeah. So that's about it that we had for anything that. I mean, there was a lot of other trailers. There's a lot of horror stuff coming out for the next little while, and a lot of stuff is dropping onto HBO. It's dropping onto Netflix. It's dropping onto like all the other platforms that happen to be out there. But yeah, we're just gonna cut it on that with the trailers. You guys watching anything or reading anything different? Anything interesting?
I'm just trying to, finish off Sweet Tooth. I'm going back and rewatching M.O.D.O.K now and loving every second of it.
Right, we got a new M.O.D.O.K this week. Yes, I completely forgot about it. This one was the one where he tries to form the team to steal Captain America's shield, so that he could get into the nightclub with all the big time bad guys. Yeah.
And the thing is I've watched all the episodes, and going back and watching them, you pick up so much more, because now you're paying attention to not just M.O.D.O.K, but now what's going on around him.
Yeah, you can play. Yeah.
And what what's written on walls and stuff like that. And it's just like, oh god, they have really, wow.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to being able to go back and to rewatch the M.O.D.O.K, because I'm pretty sure the visuals, because they're coming fast and furious, and there's no way you can catch everything on a first viewing.
So many jokes. I mean, there's like 4 or 5 jokes in a single moment happening sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But and then just a quick over on back to Star Wars. Bad Batch is starting to pick up into its storyline that is becoming more encompassing. We got Captain Rex coming back, and he runs into the Bad Batch, and he gets them to get the inhibitor chips taken out of their heads. Figures out a way to talk them into, because Wrecker, who's been suffering for the past couple of episodes with headaches, his programming kicks in, and he starts to turn on the rest of the Bad Batch by calling them traitors. So they're able to subdue him and be able to take the chip out. So the rest of the team now has their inhibitor chips taken out.
I'll just wait for your report on next week's episode to see if I go back and catch up, because I still haven't watched any.
No, because it looks like it's starting to build. And again, we've got a crap load of episodes, so it's a slow build, but it's starting to.
Next week is the halfway mark.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's why I'm waiting. If you tell me next week, it's they've really picked it up for the middle, then I'll go back and catch up. But
all right,
if it's not,
all right, that seems fair. What about you, Gavin? Anything?
Just still working my way through Chuck with Amanda. A lot of stuff that forgotten about is coming back front and center.
Right.
Oh, I have 1 episode left of Letterkenny. 1 left.
1 left of Letterkenny. Yeah. Oh man, that's. We got to do something about that one. Yeah, we'll do a sit down about Letterkenny, because while it might not have anything to do with comic books, it has everything to do with Canadiana.
Especially small town Canadiana.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Big portion of of my of growing up.
All right, so we're going to move on to our box office showdown, which is a weekly thing that we do where we take the box office mojo listing of movies and their total gross over their whole entire theatrical run. And we it's actually been calculated for inflation, so everything is modern day prices. And what we were doing is we were taking out of the top 100, we were taking the top 16 comic book themed movies and pitting them up against each other in a tiered sort of situation. And we are into round number 7. And so that brings us to this week's number 7 position, which on the top 100 is actually in the 22nd position. And that is 2016's Captain America Civil War. And at the present time, it is brought in $1,153,337,496. And that is going up against the number 10 position, which is also number 26 on the list, and that is 2019's Captain Marvel, which brought in $1,128,462,972. So I take it both you gentlemen, so everyone here has seen both movies, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And because it is a audio medium, I would actually like to get a more than a nod from you there, Gavin.
Yes, I have seen it.
Okay, thank you.
Both of them.
Both of them. All right. So we're going to start off with pretty much the easier one of us to talk, the easiest one for us to talk to, and that is the Russo brothers directing and Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr. and Scarlett Johansson. Well, just name any of the Avengers and throw in a Spider-Man there too. You've got Captain America Civil War, which is technically, I guess, the Avengers 3.
No, it's officially it's
2.5.
Captain America.
Sorry, what was that?
It's officially under the Captain America banner.
No, I understand that, but technically it's an Avengers movie as well, correct?
Not really.
No?
No, because at this point the Avengers have split. Like the Avengers are no longer a cohesive unit.
Okay, all right.
I mean, they start out the film as a cohesive unit, but within the first 10 minutes, it's fractured. The Avengers is done because they've split to two sides. So.
All right. Okay. No. Okay. I'll give you that. Yeah. Okay. All right. It just happens to have all the Avengers in it. Then let's put
it. Just happens to have them all in there, but it's in essence at this point it's almost two separate teams.
Okay. Nope. I will totally give you that. So, what do you guys think?
Yeah, do you want to start or shall I?
Go right ahead.
All right. Civil War is one of my favorite films. It's probably just making the top 5, maybe 6. But it is one of my favorite of the Avengers of the MCU films. It's the first appearance of Tom Holland as Spider-Man. Civil War was one of my favorite comic book storylines. I really had a fun time reading those and seeing, when the government steps in and tries to regulate, the heroing business, what happens? Like who sides with the government, who says, no, this is something you can't regulate? Because I think Steve Rogers said it perfectly, what if there's something happens and they don't let us go, or there's something happens or they send us a place where we shouldn't be going? Because the governments have agendas. It's people with agendas. Governments change people constantly. People in charge have different agendas than what's good for the country or what's good for people, because they're making deals, backdoor deals. So they could be sent to, wherever, and the real crisis is at home, or they're told, no, don't touch that crisis because we've got it. And it turns out they don't. So, that's where the whole split between the team is, because you've got Tony Stark, who's feeling guilty over what happened in the, New York, Slovakia, or Sokovia.
Sokovia, yeah.
And then the recent bomb at the start of the film. So he's feeling guilty. He's got a lot of guilt. He meets up with the mother of one of the victims, So he's going, we need oversight. He feels that he isn't up to the task of oversighting, because I mean they just went through Age of Ultron.
If we had
That's
opened
on
our
him.
magazine when it came 2
You know,
weeks ago, you'd
Ultron's
know
on
about
him.
that show.
So when that's on his side, and it's Steve Rogers on the side that he went through, growing up early America. He went through World War II, and then you got Flash Frozen, and culture shock coming into the modern age. He sees when government has taken too much power, and he realizes there's instances where government shouldn't be stepping in, and that's the whole core of the movie. So to me, there was such a strong story to begin with, and then it's how the characters deal with it. You also have the return of Black Panther, and then when you have the two teams meet up in Germany, the two lines, it's a beautiful fight sequence. You have Ant-Man first time showing that he can go big, and then you have Spider-Man swinging around going, remember that old movie with and they took down the giant walking robots, and I was just like, please don't say he's talking about Empire Strikes Back. I don't want to feel like it's an old movie. It was, to me, it was a great film. And even right through to the end where you have Zemo trying to take down the super soldiers, the fight between Captain America and Iron Man, that was a tremendous fight. You had Iron Man analyzing Captain America's fighting style to overcome it, and it ended really well. And then the cut, the final cut scenes where they're at the raft, and you've got like Falcon's, he's in jail, and Ant-Man and stuff like that. It just felt like a great way of saying, here's the Avengers, and let's just tear them right apart and flick both sides. The Avengers are done. And then knowing that we're going to be getting eventually into the Infinity Gauntlet, where they're going to have to come together in some fashion to work together to take down Thanos. So I really liked Civil War. It was a great film of seeing, because the Avengers as a team is a strong team, but then seeing them split is a really big deal. So I'll let Gavin talk about that, and then we'll talk about Captain Marvel.
Well, I mean, you've more or less summed up the entire plot like extremely well. I'll touch on a few things that I quite enjoyed. It was one of the first times Marvel's really done a full like just throw everyone into the mix kind of assembly or ensemble movie. So like really showing that the Russo brothers really knew what they were doing. And there wasn't a point where you thought, oh, I didn't get to see enough of this guy. I mean, yeah, Spider-Man was there for, the 10 to 15 minutes of actual screen time, but it never felt like, he was kind of overlooked or overshadowed, or there's just enough of him to make me go, okay, I can see this guy in the next, when he comes to his standalone movie. Everyone else had their place. Bucky and the Falcon, that whole conversation in the car, it would like they did great dialogue. They did they managed to get everyone a little bit enough time to just make them likable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this movie was definitely the perfect hub in the MCU to move it to the next level. This was the step up. This was the point where everything changes, and you don't know where it's going to go from here. Like when Josh Whedon had to bring the Avengers together in the very first movie, you didn't know if it was going to work out. The Russos had the exact same problem. They bring these characters, a couple characters that you've only just introduced, but you have to bring all these characters together and have them fight off against each other and make it seem like they're doing it for the right reasons to be in this big fight. I mean, to be able to pull that off in a 2.5-hour movie. I'm sorry, I'm just going to check again, and I'm not hitting that button. I'm hitting this button on my screen, and it is a 2. Oh, why why is the information never where I
2 hours 27 minutes.
It's 2:27. Yeah.
Thanks, Gav.
I was just waiting for you just to pull it out like Rain Man kind of numbers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Definitely 227. Definitely.
Yeah, definitely 2:27. Yeah, and again, it was, and like you said, introducing like for the 15 minutes of Parker, and you're given a whole entire thing of the way he interacted when he himself was fighting Bucky and
a better word.
Yeah, and just the interaction with them and all that, and it was a feat that, now we know the Russos can make movies. They've made a couple of movies prior to this, but this being this big epic showdown was just phenomenal to see on screen, and it was definitely a show-stopping movie. I mean, from start to finish, everyone is bringing their A game acting wise. The other thing about it is just the costumes and all that look spectacular. I mean,
yeah, definitely.
And a lot of the stuff is done in broad daylight. That's the other thing too.
Yeah.
A lot of this, the movie itself is completely done in broad daylight. So that's when you see all the flaws. That's when you have the difficulty of matching your colors, like just on a technical level. That's when you have all your problems. But the Russos just did a fantastic job, and there's no reason why they didn't go on to complete the rest of the movies that they did. I mean, so I saw this in the theater. I think I actually saw it twice in the theater, which it's kind of hard to do that nowadays. To go see a movie more than once in the theater, there has to be either you really, really enjoy it, or you just happen to have like some other secondary section of friends that are like, well, I haven't seen this yet. Like, oh, I'll go see it with you again, sort of thing. And for nowadays to be willing to pay twice for the movie,
Yes,
definitely a good
current
time.
theater prices.
Yeah, at theater prices. Yeah.
I will say what kept this movie out of my top 3 was the horrible misuse of Crossbones. You had Frank Grillo's character as Crossbones.
Yeah.
And in the first 10 minutes, he's gone. And it's just like, you have this character who in the Marvel Universe has an amazing backstory, has this long conflict with Captain America.
Yeah.
And you just like, oh, it's Crossbones, and let's just crumple up that paper and throw it away. It was just, it was Baron Strucker all over again. You set him up, you crumple it up, throw it away. He's not a throwaway character. Don't treat these types of villains as throwaways. If
they had introduced him in that movie, then I could understand that.
Yeah, but
the fact that they built him up,
they introduced him back in the Winter Soldier. We see the burns, we see him being rushed into the ER.
Yeah, and
then we see him as Crossbones.
Yeah,
I would have preferred to see him apprehended and maybe the bomb itself go up, and you can still do the bomb explode. That's fine. But I just like you had. I mean, I Crossbones was a great villain. To just see it thrown away like that was just, to me, criminal, and that's one of the reasons why this movie isn't ranked higher in my list of favorite MCU movies.
Okay, I can see that. I don't know where I would put this in the echelon of movies. It is definitely near the top. That is definitely near the top. I mean, my favorite still is Winter Soldier. Just the way the movie is. It's from start to finish. Again, Russo's as well, right?
Yes.
That's their first one, right?
Their first was. This was kind of more like they're proving that they could handle a large ensemble to get them to Infinity War.
That's a good point. Yeah, definitely. That is what that is definitely what this was. But yeah, so again, fun movie to watch. The character interactions were great. It's also good to see that the main cast is working so beautifully together. They know it looks so well oiled. Like when your main cast is working together, and then you can throw in the extra characters and they fit in perfectly. Like when you throw in Paul Rudd into this, when you throw Tom Holland into this, it works so well together. And one of my favorite things about this is how Hawkeye and Black Widow choose teams. They just like, you want to go this way? Well, I'm going to go this way. All right. Well, I guess we're on opposite teams now, which was perfect because of their history. They know it's not really personal between them. It's just that, yeah. But again, this matchup is going a little lopsided because I don't know what you guys have to say about our next movie, which is Captain Marvel. Well, we might as well go into Captain Marvel, and then we'll just compare the two. Yes, Captain Marvel does not have a kitty habit. Captain Marvel has a, Trevor, what does he have? What does it have in it?
Flarkin.
It's a Flarkin. No, it is a Flarkin to begin with. It just happens to look like a kitty.
Cat.
Yes. So this is, like I said, it is 2019's Captain Marvel, or Marvel, or however you want to say it.
Marvel.
So anyways, this also has two directors, which is Anne Boden and Ryan Fleck. And it stars Brie Larson, and it stars Samuel L. Jackson, and it stars Ben Mendelsohn. And according to this, Carol Danvers becomes one of the universe's most powerful heroes when Earth is caught in the middle of a galactic war between two alien races. Again, IMDb, that's their description of how this movie goes. But so I'm going to say off the start that this is a period piece, because it's kind of hard not to know that it's a period piece, because they hit you over the head with it pretty often
blockbusters
throughout the movie. Yeah, you got well, that was the trailer. The first trailer hit you over the head with, hey, we just crash landed into a blockbuster with videotapes. So for what this movie was, okay, I will say I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was a fun movie. It wasn't the best Marvel movie. And unfortunately, I think it was the way they wanted Carol Danvers to come across. As now, I know Brie Larson can act. I've seen Brie Larson act, and she can act. I think they stunted her character of being as approachable as she could have been or should have been. Was not her fault, but I'm going to go with the director's fault for making her act that way. We had a de-aged Sam Jackson, which visually looked great. Like just Sam Jackson sitting there in the car, driving along with Brie Larson, looked fantastic. Sam Jackson moving around like the 1990s version of Sam Jackson, not so believable. It's the thing with the de-aging. You can't de-age someone who is in their late 60s, almost 70s. I think he is at this time, right? Mm-hmm. The one that did work was Coulson, de-aged, looked fantastic because, well, he's not that much different between what he would have looked like back then to what he looks like now anyways. A little bit more hair. Role. What?
He didn't have a big physical
No, he didn't have a big physical acting role, and he just was, yeah, exactly. I enjoyed the interaction between Nick and Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers. When we were introduced to Rambo, that was cool. And her daughter was also great, which if you know anything about the series, you know what's coming on, and you've seen this. We know that the girl grows up to end up on WandaVision, which is kind of neat that it all circular connecting dots and all that sort of thing. Yes, you did forget to watch the end of WandaVision. Yes.
Forgot all about it.
Yeah. You know what? She doesn't even know that it was Agatha all along. She hasn't even seen that part.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. That's quite the. But Ben Mendelsohn was the saving factor of that movie. Ben Mendelsohn.
Chef's kiss.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Not to mention the fact that the makeup of the scrolls was fantastic. To go between what we've seen for years, for decades in the comic book, what a scroll looks like, to turn them into this character is so beautiful that it is a tribute to the original art, yet still taking it into a realistic world and not losing it. It's again, you look at this character and you're like, hey, that looks like a scroll. I recognize that. It's like our He-Man from earlier. Like, hey, this is what the character looked like. You know him from what he used to be. And I'm a fan of Ben Mendelsohn as well. And to hear him be this sort of comedic, sarcastic character was such a delight in a movie where there wasn't very much humor other than a couple of back and forth jabs between Nick Fury and Carol Danvers. That was about it for that. So Sam Middleton was the comic relief, and unfortunately there wasn't enough of it. And if it had been too much of it, it wouldn't have been as fun. When he is as the director, he's fantastic. When he's as the scroll, he's even better. But and then the tearjerker of the final appearance of the current, at the time, living Stan Lee. Him bringing the reality into reality where he is sitting on the what is it? It's a train, right? It's a subway, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the subway.
Yeah.
Where he's reading the script for Mallrats, which is kind of neat because it then means that is Stan Lee. It's not a character. It is the Stan Lee. It's not the character that plays all these other characters and all that. It is actually the Stan Lee reading something that is real, the script to Mallrats. So it's kind of nice to see a tribute to that, and the fact that Carol Danvers comes out of character and gives this character a smile, like as a just like acknowledging smile, and then carries on for the rest of the situation that she ends up fighting Kitty from that 70s show, who was a Skrull at the time. So, but other than that bit, the movie sort of doesn't seem cohesive. I mean, the main part of the story is her finding out who this actual Captain Marvel is, where she got her powers from, the Kree that she's fighting alongside of as they're fighting the Skrulls and all that. It's because they also have the young Pope actor. I'm just gonna like look this
Trevor?
up. What?
Trevor, come on.
Yeah, come on.
I'm not sure which one he's talking about.
The guy that was training her, Jude Law.
Jude Law.
Bloody hell, Jude Law. Oh, I can't believe. Okay, I'm just gonna say Annette Bening right now, as well as the Supreme Intelligence was actually
Definitely Jude Law.
yeah, definitely Jude Law.
Definitely Jude Law.
Definitely Jude Law.
Wapner's coming on.
But it's an impressive cast. It just, unfortunately, the story I don't think was solid enough to be able to pull it off. And the fact that it is the movie we got before the Infinity War, right? Do I have that in the right order? Yeah. So instead of going, because we had a movie that was supposed to lead right into the Infinity War, and then the next movie we actually jumped back to before anything actually happened.
Was it not Endgame that we see her, or was it Infinity?
At the end of Infinity War, she has the mid-credits cameo.
Yeah, where it's what's his face?
Where's Fury?
As Fury's disappearing, we see the
Right.
The
So it was in between the two.
yes, it was in between the
biggest
two movies. Yes.
blockbusters.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, it was the movie they tried to squeeze in, and then the Ant-Man movie was in there as well. Ant-Man and the Wasp was also in there as well.
Yeah.
Which I think was a more entertaining movie than Captain
Yeah.
Marvel. So, but what do you guys have to say about it?
Gav, you're next.
Okay. I feel there's like a couple of loaded barrels going to be fired after this. I'm like you, Troy. I enjoyed Captain Marvel. I feel there was a lot of factors that kind of screwed over the both the audience reception of it as well as what it could have been. For me, most importantly, it was it doesn't it's not cohesive enough. Like Marvel is basically trying to shoehorn in an entirely new character that no one has ever heard of. In between, oh yeah, here's a little Captain Marvel pager, going off, and no one has ever heard of it. The Guardians of the Galaxy have never heard of this, Captain Marvel. The other aspect too is you've got so many established Marvel characters that have they've played these characters to a T perfectly, and now you have Brie Larson stepping in, taking a character that she's never had to work with before, so she doesn't know how to play it yet. In addition to basically going up against Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, like everyone else, and on top of that, the first female-driven Marvel Cinematic Universe movie. So the expectations were here versus the 2008 Iron Man was basically, oh, I don't know, this is an independent thing. I don't know how well this is going to come off here. And of course, we now know, it was one of the one of the most successful introductions to an entire universe in hindsight. But here's Captain Marvel, Brie Larson having to carry this entire thing, and as you pointed out, I mean, the director was definitely at fault in terms of her direction choices. As you said, she could act. She can definitely act. It just didn't. She just wasn't a particularly likable character in this. I mean, I enjoyed a lot of the things that came out of it, but and as movies go, I mean, it's a great entry for parents who've got kids who want a female superhero to look up to. But as a movie, especially comparing it to the masterpiece that is Civil War, it's no comparison.
Captain America for the win. That moves on to next week. Okay, best fight scene out of almost any superhero movie I've ever seen with the airport sequence. Captain Marvel, easy vote out for me. Second least favorite of all the Marvel movies. I think they ruined the Nick Fury character. What the hell is with the cat scratching out his eyeball? In the comic books, it was always a grenade. He saved his team. This Nick Fury gets scratched by a cat.
It's a Florkin.
I just can't buy it. Huh?
It's a Florkin. It's not a cat.
It's a xenomorph cat, but it's still a cat scratch on his eyeball. Come on, you can't do that to Marvel. You can't do that to Nick Fury. You can't do that to Samuel L. Jackson. At least throw a alien grenade. So that's what I gotta say about that.
Mr. Brown, I believe you're up to bat now. As
Right.
he rubs his hands together. Wait a sec.
I'm gonna get my helmet on here.
Wait a second.
All
I
right,
gotta check to see if we have. I gotta check to see if we have enough tape in the machine to record this.
All right. So, I mean, I knew of the Captain Marvel, kept up with the comic books. And I was anticipating, this movie because this is a character who is going to be, they kept saying this is the character who rivals Thor in power, if not exceeds Thor in power. And I was like, all right, let's see it. And didn't get it. We had a cast that was underutilized. You have Annette Bening. Use her. God damn it, use her. She is an amazing actress. And she's got what, like 7 minutes of screen time total? Like, fuck. Use her. Now I'm going to quickly share my screen here. This is the Supreme Intelligence I grew up seeing. The giant green head with the tentacles.
Yes.
I wanted to see Annette Bening initially in the Mindscape turn into this, like, or when she starts fighting back, have to drop the facade of being, the Annette Bening phase to basically say, all right, I got to put all my computing power to slow her down. We didn't get that.
No.
It was such a lost opportunity. And yeah, Jude Law can chew through scene like just about no other actor, and it just felt like he was constantly being like arms tied behind his back.
Yeah, he was totally underutilized for sure.
And on that point, Marvel has had a history of when they introduce a character, they introduce a villain with the exact same goddamn power set that they fight. You pretty much name the Marvel hero and you'll have their first movie, who are they fighting and why is it the same power set? Captain Marvel was supposed to be, she's powerful enough to take on Thanos, toe to toe and possibly win, even when he's powered up with the Infinity Gauntlet. She's got the power of the Space Stone running through her body. She's got the power cosmic running through her body. She's that strong. And her main opponent is Jude Law's character who has a gun. It's like, that's like a bodybuilder.
You know what, Trevor, that about sums up the movie. Yep, yeah, that is that line there, and Jude Law has a gun.
It's like an army facing off against an ant. Like, yeah. How is that a contest? How is she in peril at any point? She's not. She is never in peril through the whole movie. Not once. Not at any point do we go, she's facing something that could possibly kill her. Not once. Even in the opening sequence where she gets captured, we're like, oh, okay, she got captured. They wanted to get information of her. No, because they couldn't kill her. That's why they captured her, because they were able to take her down to capture, but they couldn't off her because the power running through her is just far too great. So I didn't want to see her facing off against another cosmic being, but I just wanted to see her face. Having her face off against the Supreme Intelligence, yeah, she's got all the power cosmic running through physically, but mentally, that's where the Supreme Intelligence could take her down. But we didn't get to see that.
No.
All she was a concentrated, burned out her chip, and then boom, I'm Captain Marvel, and fuck the rest of you. And that's where I was just like, there's no worthy opponent. She's great protagonist. Fuck all for an antagonist for the story. So that's why the story it didn't hold up. I wanted to see that moment of realization when she comes into her, like, for the most part, they were holding back her power so that they could get some sort of measure of control and try to trick her and don't give her a whole story and yada yada yada. Once she got that, what was stopping her just going at any point? Second, she realized that her own team was fucking with her. Why'd you take that off? It just felt such a wasted opportunity for such a powerful character. And for such a small story, for such a powerful character. It's like using an elephant to lift up a 2x4. Take on a car. Let's see the power of that elephant. So when next time we see her in Endgame, when she shows up at the end in the big fight, I remember hearing the audience like, oh, she takes down that ship. And then, when she takes that first shot from Thanos, and then he gives her the headbutt and she just looks at him and everyone's like, oh shit. There is no buildup to that point. There is so little buildup to show just what level she's operating at. That, yeah, a lot of people were gasping in the theater because there's no foreshadowing that she's that powerful. I mean, you have the whole scene with Thor when he, and he's like, "Oh, I like her," but that doesn't give the audience a visual clue of just what, basically the monster that's standing in the room with you. I mean, if Steve Rogers knew just how powerful Captain Marvel was, he'd probably be crapping his Captain America pants at that point. His underoos would be all stained, because it's like being in the room with like the devil itself, sort of thing. Like, you're just this puny little mortal. You're dealing with someone who could lay waste to an entire fucking continent at will. But we're never given that opportunity. We're never shown that. We're never displayed that level of power in her own film where we should see that. If you're going to have your own solo film, let's see this character let loose. Let's see what they can do. We saw Captain America do it. We saw Thor do it. We saw every other member of the Avengers who've got their own film. We see what happens when they let loose. We didn't get to see that. So that's, to me, it was a waste of. That's why her movie, it kind of ends with a sad little trumpet. Wah, wah. It's like, at the end, he's like, "Now let's fight me. No guns, no powers." You blows him into the side of the mountain. Because it's like an ant fighting an elephant. It's not a fair fight. It's not even close to a fair fight. She was in no danger in any way, shape, or form. It's a weak villain, and it's such a disservice to Jude Law as an actor that they said, "Oh, here's your character. He's pretty much, we just pulled the teeth out of you and tied your hands behind your back. Enjoy." If he was supposed to be the big bad, he definitely wasn't.
Yeah, they squandered both him and Annette Bening for putting them into these roles. You could have pulled them into any.
Yeah, I mean, give him some sort of cosmic dampening gear so that he can bring her down to his level, or raise himself up close. Like when he's in close proximity, his gear can power up because it's siphoning the power off of her. But at the same time, you have the Supreme Intelligence attacking her mentally, slowing her down that way. So you have a two-sided, you have people coming from both sides, physically and mentally. Then it's a fair fight in terms of, there's a chance she could be defeated. But second she burns that chip out, no one had a chance against her in no way, shape, or form. And that's when it's like, Superman, and you're playing the Superman video games where you're taking on street thugs. Unless they all have kryptonite bats, Superman should never be in any danger, ever. Ooh, look, he punched Superman. The health bar should not even flicker. It should be Superman going like, really? That's what you're going with it right now?
Yeah. And
that's what it felt like. So that's why I was like, I came into the theater going, there were some, Mendelsohn was amazing. I love that look when, after Fury gets scratched out, he's like, "It'll be okay." And then he cuts to Mendel, he's just like, just gives that slow head shake. And you're like, that summed up the character, just that sarcasm of, you have no idea. You're operating in an environment that your limited scope of intelligence can't even contemplate what's going on. That scratch from the Flurkins, that's not like getting a scratch from a house cat. It's not healing ever. You're done. That's it. And I loved that every scene he was in, he was the most captivating person in the scene. And
even when he was under all that makeup?
Even under the makeup, he emoted his ass off. Your eyes instinctively were drawn to him. Every time he talked, he took over the scene. And
which Ben Mendelsohn seems to do in a lot of his stuff.
He does, but it was just, it also shows that the writing for the other characters wasn't as strong. I remember a lot of people going, "Well, this is the first, female Marvel hero who gets her own movie." And I'm like, okay, but if you're going to take that opportunity, use it. Don't squander it.
Run with it. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't say, "Hey, it's the first female Marvel, superhero movie. Yay." But then don't just hand us a piece of dog shit and say it's going to taste like chocolate. Give us a fucking piece of chocolate. And then
unless that dog was eating chocolate.
Yeah. Like that's the part. I came out of that movie thinking, God, when's the next one coming out? Because I need to wash the taste of this out of my mouth, because it was just a whole lot of wasted opportunity. This is actually my third least favorite Marvel movie. The other two are Iron Man 3 and Thor 2.
Oh, right. Yes. Okay.
Yeah,
sorry. Yeah, I should have.
And honestly,
sorry.
All three of them are kind of circling the drain together. There's no, of the three, like, which is the worst? I'd be like, all three. Which is the best of three? All three, because they're all just equally terrible in their own way. So they're all circling the drain. I mean, they each have bright points, usually an actor's performance here and our concept here, but all three have the problem of wasted potential. So much wasted potential. And so, yeah, so it's going to be kind of easy to tell when I give my vote as to which of these two movies I feel should go on. Now, if they'd been facing Iron Man 3 or Thor, or
that would have been a totally different.
Oh yeah, that would have been a much different.
That would have been a difficult decision, yes. But so I'm pretty sure, like I said when we got into this, we were pretty sure from the get-go. But that's what we're doing. We're talking about it. We're giving it it's good points, it's bad points, it's pros, it's cons, comparing the two together and seeing what we come up with.
I'm looking forward to as we go deeper into these, where we've cut away the garbage films, and we have the gems fighting gems. That's where it's going to get interesting.
Exactly, yeah. So I'm pretty sure that it's a unanimous decision. Well, Mike Kitchen, what do you say about it? Exactly, that's what we were thinking as well. So we were going to have.
It wasn't a cat, Mike. It was a flurkin.
It was a flurkin. So we're going to be having Captain America moving on to the next round. So we now come up to the final round of the first section, the first tier, and this is going to be the 2018's Aquaman, which is only one of the few DC movies that's on this list, going up against Spider-Man Far From Home. So Aquaman made a little more money than Far From Home. Not much. But that's how it is. So that's how we're going to go with next week's Box Office Showdown. And then after that point, like Trevor just said, we're going to start now dwindling down top tier movies against top tier movies. And that's when the conversation is going to get real interesting. I'm pretty sure we're going to have a couple of opposing opinions on that.
Couple of split decisions.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's going to be difficult. We're going to have to come in with we're going to have to come in with a fifth party person just to come in to make the final decision. Or are we just going to do a flip of a coin?
I'd say let's bring in a fifth party. If we're, I'd say we'll do a consensus, flip of a coin, or fifth party, depending on every matchup. So
okay, yeah. Okay, when we come to that, we can just Okay, what we can do is we can actually we each have a significant other that can sort of chime in. Well,
provided they've seen both movies.
That's the thing. Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. I know Adrian has practically seen every single thing. I'm pretty sure maybe I don't know. What would Meredith and Amanda say?
There's a lot she had.
Depending on what they would be. Again, it would be depending on what they would be. Okay.
I can get her to flip a coin.
Seen quite a bit, actually.
Okay. And then we'll see what
she's a closet nerd.
Okay. Okay. Cool. And then we'll see what Mike has on his end there. So, or worst case scenario, you could always just grab someone else from home. You grab one of his kids to make the decision.
Yeah, because all mine are asleep.
Yeah, all yours would be asleep, wouldn't they? Yes, yeah.
I think waking up here, Harrison, which movie? Stop crying. Which movie?
Which movie?
Stop crying. I can't hear you over the cries. Movie A, movie B. Stop crying. Yeah, that wouldn't go over well.
No, that wouldn't go over well. Also, I don't think the missus would enjoy you.
For you either.
Or Fred.
For you either.
Fred. Do you want a Rice Krispie square or do you want some Pringles chips? Which movie do you want? Stop crying. Pick one. Stop crying. Yeah. And then as I leave the room, the fist would be approaching my face at like light speed.
Yeah. And
then punching it to the back of my head with a, why did you wake them up?
Okay, so Trevor, what did you think of that? Stop crying. Trevor, do you want an ice bag for your eye? Oh, okay, stop crying.
No, I'd come back. There'd be a fist-sized hole, and you'd be like, "So what was the answer? Stop crying. What was the answer?
What was the answer?
Stop crying. What was the answer?" It'll all grow back. You'll be fine. Stop crying. What's the answer?
They can do wonders with plastic surgery nowadays. All right, so on that,
back all the time.
Yeah, all the time. Yes, yeah, it'll grow back, right?
Yeah. Or are you just holding on to the can?
All right. So on that note, we're gonna wrap it up for the evening, and so please be sure to check out all of our social medias. We are on Instagram, and we are on Twitter at Planet Geek Pod. You can look us up on Facebook for Planet Geek Productions. We're in the groups section, so just go there. Leave us a message on any of those platforms. You can also send us an email if you want to chat to us about any old thing that we're talking about or that you want to input into our stories. And then we'll include you in each of our episodes if you want to do that sort of thing. And the email you can send it to is planetgeekpod@gmail.com. And so I guess that's going to wrap it up for us. And
Thank you all for attending this Marvel support group.
well, no, we'll just stop it there, because then we can splice in the actual us doing the countdown
Another
to
episode of the Nerd Supporting Nerds.
Nerd Supporting Nerds. Yes. Hey, do we want to do our collective goodbyes now? So Michael's involved with that as well, and I'll just put it at the end.
We can do that.
All right.
And I'll say collective goodbye this time.
Okay, on the count of three. We're again 1, 2, 3, and then we'll say it. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Collective goodbye. Oh, not too bad, guys. We'll get the timing down eventually.
By episode 30, it'll be like perfect in
Oh,
sync.
for sure. Yeah.
Oh, I don't think so. I think it's going to be all downhill.
Did you hear that? Happy Indiana Jones Day, guys.
Hey, happy Indiana Jones.
Yes. Well, Raiders was released on this day, so
40 years.
40 years ago today.
Indy didn't have to be in that movie.
No, we know Indy didn't have to be in the movie for that movie to happen. Yes, we know.
Okay, I'm going to drop out now, guys.
Okay,
Good luck
take
with
care,
the rest
Michael.
of
Bye, Mike.
You have just been listening to Geeking Off the Page with your hosts, Mike Kitchen, Gavin Burbage, Trevor Brown, and Troy Bowman. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Also, if you could leave us a rating and comment, that would assist in allowing others to find this podcast more easily. You can follow the podcast on the following social platforms: Instagram and Twitter, search for @PlanetGeekPod, all one word. On Facebook, search for Planet Geek Productions. Or you can send us an email to planetgeekpod@gmail.com. Buy the guys a coffee by going to Ko-Fi, ko-fi.com/PlanetGeekPod. And know that any and all donations will go towards improving all current and future Planet Geek Productions programs. Thank you for listening.